Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Review Podcast. Just want to thank all our fans and listeners. We really appreciate it. We are pleased to be joined today by another legend of the business who has nearly 30 years worth of credits to her name, including The Hunger Games Mockingjay, the new film Fear of Rain, and the upcoming Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Miss Eugenie Bondurant, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you very much for inviting me to be on your show. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
I've
yes.
heard you've had a lot of cool people on your show.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And we thank you a lot for your time. We really appreciate it. We like to kick all of our interviews off. Can you just tell us what got you into acting?
An ex-boyfriend, breaking up with the ex-boyfriend. That's what got me into acting. So, it's got to come from somewhere. And some people, they the minute they come out of the womb, they must be a thespian. But that desire, even though I was a big show-off when I was younger, that didn't come into fruition until I was long past graduating from college and, past a career or two. And then there it was. So, yeah, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I was modeling, not in L.A. because my look in L.A. did not really jive, but and I was out there for a boyfriend that had moved from New York, and we broke up, and a friend of mine who was teaching acting said, come join my acting class, and then I started working, and that was it. That's how it worked.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I know. You know what? I teach as well. I teach acting, and there's so many incredibly talented young men and women, and of course adults as well. I teach adults now, but I also coach teens, and they're going to college, and they have such wonderful aspirations, and I think, golly, you have so much. They're so good, and wow, it just amazes me the talent that's out there and the access to training that people have now. There you go.
All right. That's awesome. Hi, Eugenie. I'm Jo. I'm a guest co-host this week. Hi, how are you? Okay, so you've had a very unique career, one that's taken you from the runways of New York and Paris to featured roles in all sorts of films and television. Can you speak to that a little bit and about your journey, kind of how it started from runways to film? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit already.
Sure, of course. I didn't realize that, I'm 6'1", and I'm thin, and I come by it naturally. Please don't hate me for that, but it's one of those things, and my physique is that way. And
very blessed.
I know I just have to thank my dad, who was 6'4.5" and very thin. So anyway, it's been an interesting journey in that I found out much later in my career, I realized that's the best word, much later in my career, that I'm not going to play the girl next door. And it took me, because I'm thinking when I first started working in film and television, oh, well, it would be nice maybe if I got, an under 5 or something, just starting out on a soap opera. But then about 10 years later, I turned around and thought, what, am I a fool? I'm 6'1", and I'm thin, and I'm angular. They're not going to book me. I'm way too tall than any of the leading men, and, the look is just not right. So it's been an interesting journey, really understanding who I am and what what people call it now is brand, but how that works in my favor, and how beneficial it's been. It's been a terrific journey. I always thought it was beneficial growing up, but I didn't realize how it would help me in the future. And now it's the future. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that's the right answer to your question, but
Oh, that's perfect. I'm kind of jealous of your height, but I'm like 5'7" on a really good day.
oh, again, thank you, Dad.
Yeah. My mom is 4'10",
Yeah.
so that's where I get my height from.
No. No
uh,
kidding. Wow.
yes, ma'am. Being that we're a horror movie podcast, we have to ask you
Yeah.
about a few different roles. I know one in particular I'm interested
Absolutely.
about. We all like B80s horror movies. Can you just tell us a little bit about your role in Sorority House Vampires?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So first of all, I feel like every actor has some sort of vampire movie in there, or, horror slasher flick or zombie film, B-rated zombie film in their back pocket that they did when they were just starting out. That was my first film booking. And I was not a member of the union. I just started acting. And that role, I was booked as the lead vampire, of course, and probably the only vampire. And then what ended up happening was it's supposed to be this really fun, campy film, and I didn't know any different. Oh my gosh, I booked a film! I was so excited, and we film it. We're up in Topanga Canyon or something like that for about 3 weeks filming or a month filming, and we're in the dirt, and I'm dressed, my skin's falling off, and I've got to dance, and then I look like a beautiful vampire, and all this kind of funny stuff. Well, later on, the producers came back to me and said, oh, you know what, it's not, Japan isn't buying this film, so we've got to change it about. And they changed it, and now I'm in the film as a film in a film, and they hired all these, other women to play these really strange roles, and it didn't turn out to be this campy, funny film, and it wasn't what I originally used. And then they used my name that they shouldn't have done. It was just crazy. Doing it, though, it was a blast. I mean, playing that role was a blast. It was the first time I'd ever had prosthetics on my skin, and it was fascinating for me when when the makeup person would come and say, okay, now look, this is how we do your arm, and the skin's falling off, and you're being fried by the sun. I thought, okay, that's pretty wild. It's pretty. You can't tell dirt from the makeup. So if you get dirty, it's all part of it. Anyway,
That's
there you go.
All right. So you've been in a lot of things throughout your career, including Fight Club, Saturday Night Live, and even tossing around comedian Gene Wilder while playing Alice Cooper's favorite dominatrix on Something Wilder. Do you have anything you can share from those experiences?
I have stories from every single thing that I've done. It's been an amazing, magical experience. And I think, for me, that's part of my takeaway. I get to do this really fun job that I love. I love it. And Fight Club, I do have an odd story with that. I was dating this guy, and I saw that script on his desk, and I said, oh my gosh, what is this? And he said, oh, that's what Jim just wrote. Jim was his very good friend who wrote the script. And I said, oh, no kidding. So I read it, and I couldn't, I just raced through it. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to film this. Of course, while I'm reading, thinking there are no roles for me in this film because it's primarily men. And anyway, long story short, I ended up much later auditioning for it, and I thought, wow, I just read the script, and it's incredible. And I have this small, crying scene in Fight Club. Saturday Night Live was a blast. Dana Carvey and Mike Myers they were so much fun. And Mike Myers was engaged to his wife then. That's how long ago it was. And
oh, wow.
I'm dressed in this crazy outfit with, a dog collar and tights, and, I've got heavy makeup on, and my hair's slicked back, and very, very Berlin, 1920s Berlin looking, and Madonna is part of the scene. I mean, just all these fun memories. But I remember Mike Myers saying, I've got to kiss Madonna, and I don't know what my fiance is going to say about this, sitting here like laughing, going, "Oh, you poor guy." Not that there's anything wrong with casting with dominance, just wow, you're in a relationship, and how do you explain to your fiance? Oh, oops. So yeah, but there were a lot of wonderful things about that, and working around with them. They are so funny, both of them together, incredibly funny. And something Wilder, Gene Wilder, and Alice Cooper. I mean, how do you get around? Just a fact. I mean, I remember sitting in a chair, and Alice Cooper is on my right, and Gene Wilder is on my left, and we're waiting for the next shot to be set up. And I just thinking, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Wow, I'm speechless. These two icons. I'm sitting in the middle, just between these two icons, and we're ready. Waiting for our next scene to start. Having to maul Gene Wilder was very fun, and there was in the audition, I thought, oh my gosh, this is my icon. I mean, I just in the callback, I had to, he was there, and they said, well, why don't you just run the scene with Gene? And I'm looking at him now. The first scene I have with him, I've got to rip his robe off, push him on the sofa, dig my elbow in his back, and crawl on top of him on the sofa. And I think, here is this wonderful human being who is hysterically funny, and just, I'm basically speechless, thinking, Mr. Wilder, may I place my hands on your shoulders? Do you mind? Yeah, go ahead. It was a blast, and I had such a good time, and he's just wonderful. So, yeah, those are just three takeaways from those three shows, and
wow, that's
each one being a terrific experience.
Well, I can only imagine. You're starring in this new film, Fear of Rain, where you play Danny. You're co-starring with some big names in the industry: Katherine Heigl, Harry Connick Jr., to name a few. Can you just tell us a little bit about that film?
Yes. So do you want to know about the film, or do you want to tell me what you would like me to tell you? Do you want me to give you a rundown on what the film is about?
Sure. And how do you prep playing a character with schizophrenia? I'd like to know that as well.
Well, I don't. I'm not the one with that is a person with schizophrenia. Actually, Madison Eisman plays Rain, and she has schizophrenia. But the thing is, and it's her journey. So Katherine Heigl and Harry Connick Jr. are the parents of Rain, and they play the parents of Rain. And I'm the next door neighbor, and also Rain's teacher. And there is a relationship between, their family and me, of course, because when it's a neighbor and a teacher, so it's Rain's journey that we see, the frightening, scary journey of what someone with schizophrenia has, and what they're going through, and how they can, what the difference is between what's real and what is not real. And it's scary to be in their mind. So that you're mainly in her mind and seeing what she sees and experiencing what she sees. So as frightened and scared and confused as she is, you are. And it's an interesting journey. So the arc of the story only, the amount of time is just, I don't know, just like a week or a couple of weeks or something like that is this time frame. And what Rain thinks is true and not true. But, it sheds light on everyone. We all have issues, and the next door neighbor has, for what we think, the next door neighbor, the role that I play, potentially has mental issues. I'm sure the father, who's played by Harry Connick Jr., is dealing with a lot of emotional a lot of emotional things. Katherine Heigl's role, playing the mother, is certainly dealing with issues as well. So it's a film. It's a wonderful film. It was incredible to work on that film with them and work with that powerful talent. And even the role that Israel Bouchard plays, he's a wonderful human being, and he plays a terrific balance to Rain. So I'd say go out and see it.
Oh, absolutely. We watched the trailer, and it looks incredible. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get to see it soon, and I hope you enjoy it. So thank you for asking me about that.
It looks super good. All right. So one of our co-hosts is a really big Star Trek fan. So you played in 3 separate episodes of The Next Generation, playing 2 different characters. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay. So Star Trek, again, that was in the beginning of when I had no idea what was going on for what. And Star Trek was the only job, I booked them all as background talent, and very early on. And there's one episode where, on the cliffhanger, where it's set back in San Francisco, the 1800s, late 1800s, I think. Anyway, and it's interesting, our journey in our life and acting. It was a blast working with them. They made this beautiful dress for me, and doing working on Star Trek. It's just that at the end, so I'm the cliffhanger. I kill someone, and I thought, innocently, just starting out, I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to have to bring me back the next season. So I tell my little agent, who, is barely holding on, hey, I was on Star Trek as a background talent, and, I was a big deal, and I think they're going to bring me on next season. And they're just looking at me like I've lost my mind, right? So, I said, you should send my headshot to the producer, which who knows whether they sent the headshot or not to the producer. And, really background talent, I don't know. Well, come to find out, sure enough, about 3 or 4 months later, the production team calls me and says, hey, guess what? Are you interested in coming back? I said, yes, of course. Now, mind you, I had done that little vampire film. I had done many commercials by then. I was already a member of the union, but I really had barely started auditioning. I was taking acting classes, but I was, a year out of that? And so they said, well, they called me back a few more days, and they said, we actually want you to come in and read with the casting director. I said, okay, not knowing what in the world that was like to read for the casting director of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And I go in, and I leave, and I'm sobbing. I'm just like, it was so awful. I was so awful. It was horrible. And sure enough, I get fired because, or they didn't call. They said, I'm sorry, we're going to, go a different direction. And they booked someone else to play my role.
Oh, no.
And I'm glad they did. Really, it really gave me a wake-up call, like, oh, wait, maybe I need more training if I'm going to audition for something like Star Trek, as a principal player. If I'm going to be in this game, I really need to do something about that. So, yeah, that was, I told you I teach acting now, and as well as I'm an actress as well. And I tell my students, let me tell you, the only job I've been fired, it's Star Trek. It's, it was a doozy. It hurt. It hurt like crazy when it happened. But I laugh about it now, and it really shook me up and made me, behave, I guess.
I was about to say, well, something good happened because now you're a teacher, so.
Well,
all right.
I'm an actress, and I'm booking these great roles, so that's good. I'm doing something right.
Doing something right, for sure. Okay. You were also in the fourth Hunger Games as well. So we've had a lot of actors such as Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund on the show, and it always interests us to know about the makeup process. I know you kind of talked about a little bit just a minute ago, but can you talk some more about that?
You bet I can. I love talking about that.
One of my favorite parts.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I tell you, Hunger Games, what an incredible experience. From booking the role and going to the callback to the whole experience of developing the character with Glenn Hetrick and V. Neal, and them coming up with this beautiful, iconic, pivotal character. So the makeup process, well, first thing is I was flown out to LA to get to have for prosthetic work, and I worked very closely with Glenn Hetrick, and he did a body cast, and we sat down for the first time, and he said, "So, have you ever had a body cast?" Well, I have had body casts before, and I'm looking at him, and I had done this film, Space Truckers, where I played a biomechanical warrior, and the special effects guy had done a full body, like my neck down to my ankle body cast.
Wow.
So I said, do you mean full body, like head to feet, or just head, or just body? And he looks at me and he goes, when did you have a body cast on? I said, Space Truckers. He goes, oh my gosh, I worked on Space Truckers. And we had worked on the same project, and he just was in charge of something else instead of my character.
Right.
So, I said, no problem. Yeah, I've had like 4 or 5 done. So we started off really well, and he was incredible to work with. He and V are meticulous and precise, and they're so knowledgeable. The makeup took makeup, hair, and then getting me in wardrobe took about 6 hours.
Wow.
And I would arrive on set at, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Well,
it's quite an
I
outfit.
Think of Freddy Krueger, and I go,
yeah.
Outfit. Well, that's another thing too. Being a former model, Kurt and Bart were the designers, the wardrobe designers, and they said, "So we're gonna, have fun with your character." I said, "Yeah, come on, bring them on." I said, "You are so much fun." I said, "Yeah, let me try them all on. See what you want to do. Come on." So we had a blast doing that. So it was kind of tough. Once you had the makeup on, you couldn't put you had to put the outfit on, whatever the outfit was that I was doing. You had to do that after the makeup was on, and the makeup's so delicate. I mean, I had tattoos all the way down my arms, down my chest, all on my shoulders, down my back, up my neck, and then on my face. And even on my hands, I had tattoos. So it was important for the for wardrobe, for the one of the outfits that I wear, so you could actually see through the fabric of the arms, and then maybe see a little bit of my chest and neck, so that you get that glimpse of how fully tattooed she is. But I would have during that 6 hours. So in the makeup chair, let's say I'd get there at 4:15 or something like that in the morning, and they would start on the hair first, and then go to the makeup chair, and they do some sort of priming and prep, and they go, okay, do you want anything to eat? Because this is the last time you're going to have a full meal. Okay, so maybe that's at 6 o'clock in the morning. Sure, bring it on. So there would be at least 3 people working on me, and I just lie down in the chair, and they just put tattoos on, and then the prosthetics and makeup, and then the hair would come, and they'd do stuff, and then they'd go back to the makeup and everything. So it was a process, an incredible, wonderful process that I just, meditate during it, and occasionally somebody would say something, and, wake up and go, oh, wait, laugh, and I'd laugh, and then I couldn't laugh because I'd have a prosthetic on my face, and you can't, if you put your fingers next to the edge of your mouth, and you try to talk, just keep, while not moving your mouth, then you know what that prosthetic was like. The prosthetic went all the way down, up on my lip, to all around my lips, and I couldn't really move my lips or my eyes. I've never had Botox, but I would imagine that if someone has Botox, a lot of Botox in their face, that's what it would feel like. So, yeah, it was a blast. It took about 2 hours to remove as well. I had nails. I had whiskers these whiskers were, what was it? They were these little wires, but what they put in the prosthetic that was on my cheek were, what is it when they put, when someone does spray painting and you're an artist, you use, it's like a little gun with the spray in it.
Like an airbrush?
Airbrush. So it's an airbrush little nozzle, right?
Oh.
Like the little bitty metal nozzle held the wire that were my whiskers.
Oh, wow.
On my face. Isn't that crazy? I know.
That is a process.
Yeah. We did even a test as to what type of eyelashes would tigers wear. And I thought, okay, there were all types. If you think of Effie Trinket and you think of her character and all the different makeup styles, and she had crazy eyelashes. And I thought, I don't know. We must have tried on like four or five different ones. Like, what do you think of this? Well, no, this is a little obnoxious. No, how about this? Oh, I don't know. It's just really fun and wild. Yeah.
Well, the final product is beautiful.
Thank you. The shoes. Oh my gosh, the shoes were beautiful, and you only get this very quick glimpse of those shoes. They were handmade, actually machine made, but they were made by an artist in Italy.
I'll have to keep a lookout for those next time I watch it.
Yeah, they were pretty wild. Yeah, thank you for saying that. It was fun doing it. It was fun.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm super excited for your answer to this next question. But you're going to be in The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm a huge fan of the first one, and The Conjuring 2 is one of my favorite horror movies in general ever. I know you can't tell us too much about it, but is there anything you can speak to us as far as maybe just a little bit about your role or just the experience on that set? I am beyond excited. I was so heartbroken when it got delayed a year, and I cannot wait to go see The Conjuring 3. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I cannot talk about my role. So you just have to wait till June for that. But the experience was incredible. I know. Well, I signed that little agreement that's called an NDA.
Oh,
Warner
yes, ma'am.
Brothers is a big company that would be pretty upset if I did say anything. So it was an amazing experience working with everyone, the talent and the crew. What an incredibly talented crew. And it's going to be scary with a capital S, ending in a Y, big old time scary. You are going to love it. That is going to be your favorite one. Yeah, baby. That is what I want to tell you about that. Run, don't race. Race, run. Don't walk to go see that film. Yeah, baby.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Well, what was it? I'm just gonna ask one more quick question about that before I wrap it up. What was it like working with Vera and Patrick?
They're incredible.
The Warrens, their relationship is what really makes the first two movies. Just how great they are together, the chemistry, their the love they have on screen. I absolutely love it.
They have such a great relationship, and they horse around all the time on set, and they're constantly teasing each other and playing practical jokes on one another, and everybody laughs. It's not just them. I mean, everybody is used to it, and the crew that return for each one of these projects know them, so they're used to those pranks. They're incredibly fun, very generous actors, and incredible to watch. I mean, to me, being on that set was, going to an acting class, because I got to watch them and watch how they worked and how they approached their work, and see their relationship and see their process. It was fun. It was quite interesting. Weren't the first two movies scary? Didn't you think they were scary?
Oh,
It
I
was
thought
crazy.
I saw both of
Conjuring
them
1
in
and
the
2?
theaters. I saw both in the theaters. And the second one I thought was so great. As soon as I walked out of the movie theater, I posted on my Facebook it was the best movie I ever seen.
Oh, yeah. It just, I had to, my husband and I have when we watch a scary movie, we have a process that we call a palate cleanser. We've got to, if I watch it at home, we've got to watch something neutralizing after. So just simple, like a funny half-hour show or something, because I will dream about that, and I cannot get that out of my head. I don't want the seed or the worm being planted in my head when I'm sleeping. It just, So, yeah. And you know what else was odd? So I had booked Fear of Rain. Well, not odd, but really fun fact. I booked Fear of Rain, and here's Madison Eisman playing Rain. And then while I'm working on Fear of Rain, I audition for and then book Conjuring 3. And Madison Eisman was in, what was the film she was in with the dog? I can't believe I can't.
Annabelle.
It's not right in that to mind.
Annabelle
She was
Comes
in
Home.
Annabelle. What was it? Annabelle. Yes, Annabelle Comes Home. And I thought, now, isn't this an interesting, set of events that this happened and then this other thing happened, oh, okay. I'm booking something in the Conjuring universe. So, wow. Anyway, there you go. That's all I have to say about that.
I know our audience. I know our audience is super excited to watch The Conjuring 3. Ms. Eugenie, is there anything else coming up that you'd like to tell our audience about, or maybe give a shout out to a social media or something like that before we let you go?
Absolutely. I would like to give a shout out, of course, to Fear of Rain. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook, obviously, and Twitter. And all the cast members, please follow. And you may follow me on Instagram at Eugenie Bondurant. So Eugenie Bondurant. On Instagram, Facebook, Facebook is Eugenie Bondurant Actress. And what else? What would I like my audience to know about? Well, there are projects that are in the works that have signed NDAs on, so I can't tell you about that. But I did direct last year my first short film, and that's going to be showing at the upcoming Sunscreen Film Festival, and it's been getting a lot of recognition and for a lot of awards, and it's been really fun. It's been really cool. I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Sounds great. Just want to thank you for your time. This has been a wonderful interview. You're a wonderful person. We really appreciate your time. I'm super, like I said, I'm super excited for Conjuring 3. I can't wait.
I know you're gonna reach out to me and let me know what you think about it.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry about that.
You don't think so.
Thank you for your time.
Anyway, thank you very, very much. I look forward to talking with you again. It was fun.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
It was my pleasure.
Do you mind